Welcome to day 3 of the 30 Days to Ascension challenge. If you haven't already watched the videos from days 1 and 2, then I would strongly encourage you to go back and watch those first before tuning into this video, because you are going to want to watch all of these videos in order. I also just want to remind you that there are 3 pieces each day to this challenge. So piece 1, this video here, these daily videos that are going to be up on YouTube with a channel lesson. And then the second portion is a video in the membership. If you are not already a member of the channel collective, make sure to check it out. It's my monthly membership, and every day in that membership portal, I will be posting a second portion to these channel lessons where I go more in depth. I talk a bit more about my response, my reaction, more reflections, applying the lesson to your daily life, anything else that the guides have said about the lesson as well. So that will really help you anchor that into your daily life. And then the third piece are the daily emails. And what those will have are exercises to help you really integrate the lesson. So just some, well, I won't say quick necessarily, but reflective exercises or specific action steps to take to really integrate what you've learned, because we are covering a lot. And if you haven't already signed up for those daily emails, it's not too late. You can click the link below. I'll have that linked below so you can sign up if you haven't already. And if you aren't already a member in the channel collective, then you can check that out too to see if there's a tier that you want to join, or if not, then just check out the free community forum. I'm moving my community mostly into that private forum, and it's a great place to discuss what's coming up for you during this challenge, so I would love to see you there. So the links for all of that will be below. Okay, let's get into the good stuff. So today I'm going to channel Serapis Bey again. This is interesting for me as well, because I don't know who's coming through every day. They just tell me before when I just tune in. So I'm going to channel Serapis Bey, and he is going to talk about honesty, which I didn't think he was going to talk about this early on, but here we go. So without further ado, I will tune in and Serapis Bey will come through. Okay. Today I will be discussing a key pillar of Ascension. This code is honesty. This is a code that will unlock so much of your Ascension process, and one you will return to again and again and again. This will not be the last time I discuss honesty, for I have discussed it many times before through your channel, with your channel. And why I am discussing this today is because it is so foundational for all work moving forward. The topic of honesty is often a trigger point for many of you, for much of the messaging in your system is rooted in lack of honesty. Your ability to discern truth has often been warped by the language people use, the emotions they attempt to make you feel, how you choose to react, all of the messaging, once again, in your system, all of this messaging, it has been very difficult for many of you to discern truth. Within honesty, we must explore what truth is, how to discern it, truth within yourself, truth from another. There are many, many facets to the topic of honesty, being honest with yourself, being honest with another. We will begin to dive into this topic today. We will return to this later on. But honesty must fill you up in order for you to move fully through this process of ascension, always coming back to honesty. The questions to ask yourself in connection to honesty: where am I being honest with myself? Where am I not? And this is the key. The key is that you must be open, already affirmed aside. I understand I am not being honest with myself in areas I am not yet ready to admit. This is why so many do not fully realize where they are not being honest with themselves, because they believe the lies. For their meter of discerning what is truth, what is not, what is honest, what is not, has been so warped by all of the messaging. But it is not too far gone. It is to come back to yourself. To come back to yourself, to get to know your energy, your vibration, who you truly are, coming back inward. And from there is your neutral point to start to test other energies. Being honest with yourself will be your key to unlock the future codes. Honesty in intention, in desire, in needs, in thoughts, in words. And before we can fully be honest with others, we must be honest with ourselves. For so many of you are not honest with others, not from a place of ill intention, but rather from a place of not being honest with yourself. And here is the key, is that when you tell yourself something enough times, you start to believe it, and you believe you're honest. Underneath this is the question of, well, then what is truth and what is not? And what if you were to try on the idea of all is truth? All is truth. And then to try on the idea of nothing is true. If every single piece of information that came your way, you decided to take on as truth, how would that feel? What could you learn? If every piece of information that came your way, you decided was not truth, what would that allow you to decide for yourself? There is friction within many of you to admit that what you hear from another, you do not connect with as your own truth. Yet you yearn to stay within the tribe, to stay within what is acceptable, so you go along with the crowd. And this is how discerning honesty often gets warped. We can explore the topic of honesty and truth from the third dimensional plane, which is key, it is foundational to be honest with yourself and then to be honest with others. From there, so much fear comes up for so many of you, and we must explore this first before moving to the next level. Who are you afraid to be honest with? What are you afraid are the consequences? What is the worst that can happen from this? The worst that can happen is that you know the truth of the other's reaction. Will they reject you? Will they get upset with you? Will they shame you? Within this example, you can see that fear of honesty being honest with another, is rooted in fear of the larger truth within the dynamic. And then you explore the vibration of the relationship itself. If you are afraid to know the truth of what would come if you were honest with another, then what does that say of the vibration of the relationship itself? And how is that affecting your frequency to move on, to upgrade, to see from a larger perspective? Within the topic of honesty, so many stay rooted in polarity. This or that, right or wrong. This can have some value for creating context, for living in a world based on polarity. But what if we explore within the quantum no such thing, but rather all could be truth and all could be false. It all simply is, all simply being thought clouds. Within the topic of truth, I invite you to explore thinking of truth as, what is a vibrational match for me? Why does it trigger someone so much when another holds a different truth? What is opinion and what is fact has been highly confused within your society. And even more so because so many fight over defining the two. Name calling. That is your opinion. This is not fact. This is fact, not opinion. Back and forth. And is this getting you any closer to finding the real truth? For to find the real truth, instead of forcing yourself to categorize a thought, an information cloud, an information point as truth or opinion, as fact, opinion, pull out the threads within it. Take that thought, idea, and pull out the threads. Where is the truth in terms of what resonates for me? You will only know what resonates for you if you know the truth of your own frequency. What resonates as truth for someone who vibrates at a lower frequency will be different than what resonates for truth as someone who vibrates at a higher frequency. And this is where you start to see living in very different realities on the same plane. Living within proximity of another, yet holding completely different truths. How is it that one being can see something as truth so firmly, and another, the complete opposite, as truth so firmly? Well, what is the energy or the intention of figuring out who is right and who is wrong? Instead, exploring what truth truly means and how what we call in as truth depends on our vibrational frequency. And underneath this, our frequency so often impacted by the ideas and information we surround ourselves with, but more so our reaction to those things. Are we reacting from a place of curiosity, genuine curiosity, or from a place of trying to always discover what is right and what is wrong? What does it mean to find the ultimate truth? Well, the ultimate truth will always change. Unless you are to stay completely stagnant within your frequency, within your soul experience, within your life experience, that is not the path for you. Do you fear going into the depths of ideas that you disdain, that you believe to be completely false? Do you fear them? To fear them is to be different than to have explored, to understand, to coexist. But where the strong reaction comes is so often fear. And what is fear indicating? A truth within you. Something within yourself that you are afraid to face. And now we come back to being honest with yourself. What would it look like to live a life of honesty purely with yourself before exploring honesty within your relationships with another? To be honest with yourself would be to be honest with where you are treating yourself poorly, with what is it that you truly want, you truly desire, which relationships are serving you, which activities are truly serving you. Do you judge yourself for your emotions? Do you judge yourself for your desires? To judge is to push away the truth. Honesty is your key. You are your own compass. Yet you so often make others. You so often make others the ones who you say are meant to guide you. Look within yourself. You fear looking within yourself if you fear being honest with yourself. The most powerful way for you to start moving out of this is to go deep within. What is it? Go layers, layers, layers deep. What is it that is the truth that you are ultimately afraid of? As soon as you face the thing, you release the fear. What is fear other than a reaction? The only way you can shift the fear is to face it, to pull it into a higher frequency and explore it from another angle. But as long as it stays in the dark, it continues to be something that you are afraid of. Afraid of what we cannot see, afraid of what we do not know, afraid of what we have not explored. But what if it is that fear that, when uncovered, is the thing that sets you free? For this is so often the truth for so many of you. But you have created layers and layers and layers of emotions, thoughts, situations, piling up on top of that deep truth that you fear as distractions, as things to keep you occupied so that you can avoid that core thing. Pull it out to the top. Face it head on. This is empowerment. What are you hiding? You cannot hide from yourself any longer. If you cannot be honest with yourself? What type of friction do you think this is creating within your individual system? The truths are within you, and when you push them down, this leads to dis-ease. To be honest with yourself opens up the door for you to make life-changing, soul-aligning decisions, changes, to release what is anchoring you into a lower frequency so that you can immediately catapult into a higher vibration. Of course, it scares you. You're comfortable with where you are. You have been comfortable with suppressing, hiding from that deep truth. It might not even be in your conscious awareness anymore. It might not have ever been in your conscious awareness because you are wise to know whether or not that knowing is conscious, that it feels safer on the surface, easier to push down that truth that you fear into a place where you don't have to daily deal with it. Little do you know that when you push it down there, you are dealing with it every single day, but just not from a place of control. It is then what is controlling you. And the whole process of ascension is taking the control, the power back into your own hands. Your hands, standing firm in, this is not where I want to go. This is not who I want to be. This is not what I want to do. If that's the truth, standing firm in it. Even if everyone around you is telling you to go another way. To be your own leader is to be completely honest with yourself and live according to that honesty. For some of you, it might feel like a big, deep truth that you fear. For others, it might feel like a number of little ones, all suppressed, pushed away, set aside, dismissing yourself again and again and again. To dismiss your truth is to dismiss yourself. To dismiss your truth is to blame yourself. To shame yourself, to guilt yourself. If you were not ashamed of it, you would not push it away. If you were not afraid of it, you would not push it away. And if you are afraid, ashamed, now this energy, this frequency is within your system. And this is the process of peeling out these lower vibration emotions where they are not serving us, so that we are able to use them at the appropriate time in the appropriate way and not allow them to control us anymore. It is to take control for yourself. But you must be honest with yourself. Within this process, what do you fear? No fear is silly. But you must face it so that you can then see how you could shift it to feel a different way. Great shifts are available to you, but you must be willing to be honest with yourself and where you are hiding, where you are choosing to stay out of alignment with the energy of truth and honesty. And before you work on being honest with others, work on being honest with yourself every single day and knowing the little things. What do I need today? What do I want to do today? What will make me feel fulfilled today? What do I need to let go of? What do I want to pull more of into my life? It all adds together. Imagine how quickly you can move forward when you are living completely in the vibration of truth, of honesty. To be able to be honest with yourself allows you to make shifts and changes more quickly than you could ever imagine. To immediately be able to be honest rather than waiting a long, long time, for many of you, waiting years to be honest. And that low vibration emotion was festering for years, shifting your energy in ways that you didn't even realize. And there is a difference between processing, exploring, and knowing, but lying to yourself on a deeper level because you don't want to face what you know. Give yourself time and space to explore, to process, to view from different angles. Of course, there is much to be learned within that approach, for this allows you to step above the polarity for a moment and see many different angles. And instead of thinking of it as his story, her story, the truth, think of it as a sphere. Light can shine from any angle. These are all the different perspectives. None higher than another. Remember that when you are telling someone else they are wrong, this is different than saying this is not my truth. Only you will know what resonates with you. Where so much fear of honesty comes in is that you might discover some of your truths are unconventional, do not make sense, and what doesn't make sense, you have been taught to push away. This is where the expansion lies. This is where true exploration of ideas, information that will burst open your matrix, they all lie here. How can you be more honest with yourself today? I will leave you with that task. Okay. As with all channeled messages, explore the ideas. If it resonates, great. If it doesn't, leave it. It's all just interesting ways to think about things. So check out the membership video for part 2 of this lesson and check your email for the exercises for today.